How's it going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're talking K-Pop Demon Hunters. Some of you might actually be surprised by the fact that I'm reviewing this Netflix movie because I don't talk about it too much. Actually, quite the huge fan of the K-pop genre. Like I'm talking all of these, it's just aespa. Most importantly though, and the major reason why I had any interest in this movie, I'm a massive Twice fan. There's actually quite a lot of stuff in my K-pop collection. I'll show some of that later, but one of the big things is I actually managed to collect all of the signed photos from the Ready to Be album. So all of that combined with an interesting concept for an animated film is the major reason why this was on my radar in the first place. So I'm aware of the fact that Sony and Netflix have this deal where their movies go to Netflix, but I'm honestly kind of baffled by the fact that they actually just dumped this on Netflix. Even with K-pop growing in popularity, really it's a shame because this movie is so fun. The premise should sell you alone. Hunters chosen every generation to fight, sing, and keep demons out of the world. Think Buffy the Vampire Slayer if Buffy also moonlighted as a pop star, doing concerts, variety shows, and autograph signings. From the opening alone, this extravagant battle intersplicing musical numbers starting from inside an airplane gliding all the way down to an arena of screaming K-pop fans, that alone had me hooked. Creativity really is where the film thrives the most, blending together energetic, lively, colorful animation to these battles with infectiously catchy K-pop themed songs. Even if you took away all of the music in the movie, which I wouldn't because the songs are amazing, the action is great and fast-paced. The bathhouse and this fight on top of a moving train specifically are major standouts. Huntrix may not be a real K-pop group, but their music in this movie certainly makes me wish that they were a real group because I certainly would listen to them. That's something I really have to hand it to the team behind the movie. They nailed the K-pop formula, and I could see exactly why they're so popular. You have earworm pop songs and big vocal ballads. If I had to choose a favorite song, I'm not entirely sure which I would say, but I'd probably narrow it down to either Golden or Takedown. Takedown is kind of biased because it is the song that Jihyo, Chaeyoung, and Jeongyeon from Twice are involved in with the movie. That's another tidbit that made me very happy as a big Twice fan, is that there are some other fun sprinkling of Easter eggs for Twice fans besides the song. For example, Strategy plays during one part of the movie. There's even a sequence where Huntrix actually beats Strategy on the charts. Also, there's a big poster for Strategy in the third act, and for some reason also Meow, which is also kind of cool. I like Meow, but I just not expect them in this movie at all. As for the group Huntrix, they're pretty solid. Zoe's fun and bubbly. Mira's the tough, more serious one, while Rumi is the one who takes center stage for most of the story as the leader. To add on to the K-pop of it all, I love that the major crux of the story, this Demon Hunter versus Demon War, boils down to a battle between a girl K-pop group versus the Saja boys, these way too perfect Korean men everyone falls deeply in love with instantly. Something I do wonder if there are actual visual references to K-pop idols for these character designs, because I certainly feel like some of them are inspired by members of BTS, Stray Kids, NCT, ATEEZ. The leader of this group, Gino, reminded me so much of San from ATEEZ that it was almost kind of distracting in certain scenes. But there's even a song the Saja boys have in the latter half of the movie that feels like it could have very easily been a Stray Kids song. Regardless of the fact that this is a kids movie, I do think it's interesting that there is some subtle darkness at play. They're not in your face about it, but occasionally they do remind you that this group is taking people's souls to feed their leader. The war between them adds the greatest strengths to the story, sparking a rivalry, poking fun at fan wars, and the intensity that comes with it, along with establishing this more personal rivalry between the leaders of the group, Inu and Rumi. Their friction in the story adds that fun K-drama-like element of the will they, won't they, push and pull, riding that line, constantly fighting with one another while trying to avoid admitting their very obvious true feelings. As a sort of pseudo-antagonist, Gino ends up being an intriguing, complex character. Besides the outward charm he exudes, there's a lot of deep-seated pain and regret he feels from his past that gets you on his side before they kind of pull the rug on you, leaving you a bit torn by the conclusion. Arguably though, I think the film does a better job involving the complexity around Rumi's problem. Early on, we learn she has a lot of internal struggles with her identity, learning something that she's been hiding from everyone in her life and her fans. It's a kind of theme that we've seen done time and time again surrounding acceptance of yourself. But regardless, it's a very satisfying arc, having Rumi learn to not repress who she truly is or hide that from the world. I must say, another cool thing this movie has going for it is Lee Byung-hun, who most people know these days as frontman from Squid Game, voicing the big bad Gui Ma. That stuff perfection from a vocal standpoint. The calm, menacing tone of his voice has that fear-inducing quality in every single line of dialogue he has. What's unfortunate, however, is he's not given that much to do as an imposing figure, largely due to the fact that he's imprisoned, which makes it all the more unfortunate that the payoff for his character is not all that satisfying. Don't get me wrong, I definitely had a good time even in the third act. The third act in general is where there's some rough patches. This is a relatively short movie, clocking in at a little over an hour and a half, but because of that, certain parts in the third act feel pretty rushed. In the last third, you get your expected last act revelations, group disagreements. However, because the movie is so short and we have to rush into the climax of the movie, there's next to no time to stew on any of those emotions, since a few minutes later, they're back together for the big showdown. In general, though, I had a blast with K-Pop Demon Hunters. Outside of my love for the K-pop genre, gorgeous animation on display helps round out the infectious, energetic charm and heart behind the journey we go on with Huntrix saving the world. Also, make sure you stick around for the credits, not because there's like a post-credit scene or anything, but they just show some cool behind-the-scenes footage of Chaeyoung, Jihyo, and Jeongyeon recording the song from the movie, and I think that's just something cool that Twice fans would love to watch. If you stuck around this far, I did promise I'd show off some of my other cool stuff I'm meaning to put in the background. Besides Twice, I'm also a really big fan of the group ITZY. I collected all of their signed things from the Cheshire era, some LE SSERAFIM. I'm slowly trying to collect all of the LE SSERAFIM. I only have Chaeyoung and 2 Kazuha so far. Some other random stuff too, like Islet and Lightsum. I really recommend Lightsum. They're super underrated in my opinion. Speaking more on Meowth, I also have a signed poster for Meowth I'm gonna put up in the background at some point in the near future, so that's gonna be pretty cool. Once you get a chance to check out K-Pop Demon Hunters on Netflix, however, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of the film? Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Thank you guys. As always, checking out videos, I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like the video and also subscribe to the channel to update views, reactions, unboxings, and more. Until next time, see you guys later.